Now I have ironed my bit loops and I have open pressed the sides of the trouser. So look at how I ironed them. Then I added extra loop here. I cut extra loop. Now the length still remains 4 inches, right? And 4 inches. Then I double threaded the both ends. Then folded it in angular form this way and prepared this. Let me show you what I did. And now when I cut out a loop of 4 inches this way, for example, I that's the seventh one. Remember, this is the seventh one. So I now threaded the both ends. This is for the extra button that will be underneath. I threaded the both ends this way, and then I now had an angular folding, just like this, angular folding, just like this, right? And then I held here a little bit, then gave like 1 inch gap, held here for the bottom. Then this will be added on the trouser flap and when we are sewing. So now, once I've gotten to this stage, now the next thing to do here now is to start fixing your flap, your band rather. Then I will make sure I hold this very point with my pin. I will hold here with my pin this way. I will pin it together this way. I will pin it together this way. And then I will fold the trouser panel to come this way. And then I will measure or apply the waist to know where my bit loops will be positioned. So my waist I think was 38 or thereabout that we used for drafting. I will bring it up. So now the waist point I have is 38. So divide by 2. So you measure all through from here across this way. So 38 is by 2 is 19, right? 1938. So you mark at 1938, right? So you measure the excesses. So you have 1 inch left at the inside of the waist. So you note what you have here. Then once I've noted that, now the next thing to do, normally the gap or the distance from one back pocket to the other is 1.5. Don't forget that 1 inch will be used to lock the trouser to the trouser waist. So you mark out the 1 inch. Then from that 1 inch, you mark 1.5, which is constant, 1.5. Then from the sideline, you come back by 2 inches for the second bit loop, 2 inches, right? Don't forget to cut your threads. Then from the front pocket end point, you mark 2.5 inches inwards this way, 2.5 inches inwards this way. Do the same thing you did here on the other panel. From here, mark 2.5 this way, and then from here, you also mark 2 inches this way, and then from the back panel, you mark out 1 inch, which was the allowance left, and then mark 1.5, which is the new position. So this is what you have. So after this now, let us now start fixing our band, then loop, open it up, unzip your trouser. Now, because of the fact that we are doing English trouser, please note how I am going to apply all of this. Then I will open my flap this way. I will open it up this way. It will fall flat. Please don't make your zip to be like this or your zip to be like this. Make the zip to fall flat. So relax, face you this way. Then place your, before that, I told you that you must have iron here. So you must have known where the folding is properly positioned, this flap area. Then make it to fall back this way. At this point, you can trim a little bit. You can trim a little bit. Then place your band on your flap this way. Make it to be equal here. Place it this way. Then you're going to stitch from that point of your folding. Stitch it from the point of your folding, right? Or you can give a little gap to stitch it. However, you see very much okay. Then stitch from the point of your folding this way, and then once you get to this point where the folding of the flap ended, you make sure you don't exceed that point. You don't exceed that position. So stitch all through this way, double stitch there, and then pause that way. When you pause, Then you extend your loop, you extend your band by 1.5 or 2 inches this way. Extend it this way, then bend it back. Restart from that same position you stopped. Restart from that same position you stopped. From that same position, restart from there and then stitch again, and then stitch again, and then stitch again this way. Then take one of your loops, one of your loops, and then you place it down, making sure that line of the joining is facing up. That this joining line is facing up. Don't make it to face down because of the line not to be visible. So make it to face up. Then you lap it this way, and then start from there and start shredding. Start from there and start shredding. Thread all through. Then when you get to that side allowance, you still make sure it's open properly, and then thread all along, thread all along, then fix the other loop at that same position here, fix it there, and then thread all through this way, thread all through this way, thread it all through this way, thread all through this way. So don't forget to put your loops, right? Don't forget to put your loops at where you have already marked. So once you have fixed your loops, you can now thread it to the very end, thread to the very end. So you are done with this. Then you cut your thread, look at the results of what we are achieving so far. So now, once you have gotten to this stage, now note that at this point, you are going to still lock this loop. You are going to lock it from here. You lock it from here. But when sewing it, you don't join the line. Give a little gap here. A little gap is needed. That gap will help you to turn over that belt flap. So this is how you do it. You lock it out that way, and then the next thing to do now is to also lock the other side, this other side. But then before I lock here, I will do my piping. I will do my taping here. So let me fix the other band before we get to that level, so that you see how the bands we are actually fixed. So after that, the next to do is to fix the other band as well. So you cut off, I let the band to be warm so that I can easily cut it out after taking what I needed at the first panel. So for my second panel, I will reduce the allowance of the still okay. So now let us now fix the other band. So from here, it still starts. Don't forget that the 1 inch you left there is for the west locking. So you don't put your loop at that point. So you position this at that 1.5 inch, and then you start sewing. You start from there, and start locking it. Then don't forget the loops, right? Don't forget the loops. Make them to face up always. You see the reason. Then open up your side allowance, very important. So it laps properly as well. Then also don't forget to fix your loop here. So fix your loops where you have marked. So now you have threaded the loop to the very end. Cut off the excesses. So this is what you will see. Look at how the iron zips and stuff was properly gauged. So it will help you to stop your zip when working. So this is how it looks like. Then the next thing to do here now is to start holding down your belt loops by half of an inch. So you will start holding down your belt loops, hold them down this way, half inch from the band ending. You stitch them down, all your belt loops. You will do this on the 6 belt loops from here, half inch down, right? You will hold them down. Don't allow the line to touch the main body of the trouser. It will only lap, it will only be sewn together with the loop and the corresponding underneath trouser. So look at what I use. So sew it down from here, half inch down this way, right? So that it holds the trouser this way. I will do this on the 6 loops. I'll show the results. So now I have held all the loops down by half an inch. I can see them. I have held them down by half of an inch, right? Now this teaching I made here is very important, right? So now I have gotten to this stage. So now the next thing to do here is to pipe this other flap, this other area. So you have to say pipe it. You will pipe it. So cut off the threads, cut off your excess stuff there, and then you tape it. So you pipe it from here. You place it this way, and then you pipe it very well. Make sure that it's covering the exact positions that you should. So pipe it up all through. So carefully do this. So pipe it all through. And this is the point where you have your finishing coming into play. So pipe all through this way. Pipe it all through this way. Pipe all through. Make sure as well the pipe right round the flap. So after this now, cut a thread, right? Then the next to do here is to lock this band, the upside. So I'm trying to lock it now. So make sure that the lines of the ironing are must correspond. So you lock it. Then I don't lock from that line I have folded. I give zero gap. So stitch from there, and then lock it to this very point. Then at this point, you have to bring your external band. You have to bring the external band. So this is the band, the external band. So you bring it. Make sure you use the corresponding color. Then you have to measure, push it at 1 inch in. So measure the length of the band and cut it out. So measure the same size, the same other side as well. Measure a length as well from there, and also cut it out this way. So then after you have sewn there, then bring your band and then place it 1 inch in, 1 inch in. Then don't allow the band to be equal with the line you have iron. Make it to be a bit shorter, or don't make it to reach there. Then stitch all through this way. Then when stitching, please, your band should not be drawn straight. You should give it gap this way so that the machine uses his hands and lap it. So you now put your loop underneath this way. Don't stretch the band down. Give it air. Give it a little bit push here this way. So once you put your loop, you drag it down a bit so that it doesn't um compress the trouser when stitching, right? Then stitch all through. Allow the band to lap on its own that way. Then push it up a bit. Put your loop, put your loop this way. Then drag it down a bit, right? Drag it down a bit, and then hold the band. Hold the band. Then do the same thing. Push it up a bit. Allow it to lap by itself this way, and then it starts to loop as well. So this is what you do when you're fixing your band. Please note that every step I have explained here are very much important. So don't skip any procedure. Please, very important. So after which you cut off the excesses this way. So you now trim here off a bit in order to accommodate or allow you turn it over properly. Cut it out this way. Then after this, the next thing to do now is to push this, to come in this way. Then you carefully, please carefully, pop it out. Don't be in a haste. Carefully, you pop it out. Gently, carefully, you pop it out. In most cases, it might give you issues because of what you use in bumming it. So you carefully drag it out this way. Carefully drag it out this way. Don't be in a haste. Carefully push it all through until it comes out. But once it comes out in this form, all you need to do now is to um, get your, this is how it is, then push the top to come down this way. So this is what you will see, at this point. So you have successfully brought out your band. So you carefully finish the edge, to lap properly. So this is how it is. Look at the beautiful thing you have done so far, right? This is how it will come out. Then after this, the next thing to do now is to also flip the other band on this side, which I will also show you as we progress. Alright, so now I'm stitching the other flap as well. So you also make sure you repeat the same procedure or the same processes we have used in first part, right? So also push the band to go high and draw out your loop a bit. Draw out your loop a bit. So gently, you have to be fixing this. Gently, you have to be fixing this. Now, when you are approaching the last parts of the loop, the last loop, there's something you will do here, which I will show you. When you put your last loop, you must make sure as well you drag it out this way. Drag it out. So now you will cut out a fresh lining width of I can actually say about fold this way just a bit wider here. Then place it underneath your band this way. Place underneath your band this way, and then you thread it. You thread it. So when you cross zip a little bit, then you are going to go up through this other way around. You're going to go through this way. Now, okay, I forgot to put that loop here. That stuff I prepared, so we will go back and fix it. So I will go back and do it, right? I forgot to put that loop there. So you stretch all along this way, and then you lock it from here. Lock it from here. Just make it stretch. Lock it out to this very point. After that's finished. After which you can now, trim off the excesses. You can just trim it out this way, right? Then after this, the next thing to do now is to fold it to come backwards this way. Fold it to come backwards this way. So bring out the edges properly. So this is going to be what you have. Bring the edges come out properly. So this is what you're going to have. Then in most cases, it's advisable that you top stitch, you thread it, you thread the top stitch it so that it helps to relax the trouser body. So this is what you have. So you can decide to top stitch it from here, top stitch it from there, so that it will help you to end this other side properly as well. So top stitch all through, then you can now fold here. You can now fold here to come together this way. Fold it to come together this way. Then lock it properly. Lock it from here. Lock it from here. Cut off your threads. And then let us go and correct that stuff we did initially. Now to lock this other one, all you need to do as well is to pop stitch from the body of the trouser this way. Pop stitch from here. Pop stitch from here this way. Pop stitch it from here. And then once you get to the end point, so this is how it will be. Cut your threads. Cut your threads. So you have locked this other side, right? With this flap. I've locked it this way. Then let us correct that stuff we did. That this stuff that we have added to this very point. So I will lose this bias and then put it in if I continue. Alright, so now I have opened up this bias point. This is where it should be. Then I'll place it in this way. Then when I place it in that way, I will now stitch it again, right? With the bias, I will stitch it together this way. So this should have been done before the bias, right? So please don't skip it. So you should have stitched that stuff down first before the bias, but I forgot. I thought I was using hook. Now this method will allow you to sew without using hook. That the hook you put on trousers. So you stitch from there. Make sure you stitch properly and then hold it down again a little bit, hold it down again a little bit. So once you are done with that, you continue with your trouser, but it threads properly. So once you are done with this, so this is what I was trying to fix for this second button, right? This is the second button stuff. So now we are going to lock our waist, but before you also lock your waist, you also need to pipe it as well. So you're also going to pipe the waist. After I will pipe and come back. All right. So now I have piped this area. How neat it is. So if you are making in this trouser, it's not a small thing, but you need to follow the steps for you to get it correctly. So pipe both ends, right? Even if I have weaved it, I say piped it. Then the next now is to lock the back waist. Now in locking the back waist, you must make sure you note that your measurement you had left was 1 inch. So you must make sure that you tally this band. So the both bands must correspond first. This is your measure end here. So once you correspond to your major band, please don't start from the beginning here to sew, right? Just lock from somewhere here where the band is being held properly, then lock from there. So you must make sure your hands must be straight here. Lock it straight to an extent before you start curving. At this point, you can still apply your hip, but because of the way I cut and the way I stitch, I will not need my hip measurement anymore. I will just reduce my hand when curving the back crotch area. So once you correspond this properly, this way, make sure it's well sewn, then stitch all through, and then you continue from here. You continue from here. So make sure that this one now, your hand must be straight enough. 1 inch is very important. It helps to make the band lap properly. So straight enough. Then after that, you are now going to lock the up part of the band. You are going to lock the up part of the band. So this is what I am talking about. Look at how they matched. Look at how it corresponded, right? Fine. So after that, you need to then open press all of this, open press all through, and then fold here in an angular form, fold here in an angular form, this way, then bend it backwards and make sure that it's corresponding to the center point, and after which you take the pin and then you pin the midpoint, pin it here, then you start locking your band. I will open press and come back to show you the result. Alright guys, so now we are done ironing our band. Look at the beautiful thing we are creating here, right? We have nothing so look at how relaxed it is. So the next thing we are going to do here now is to start locking our band. So it's either you pin the band from the midpoint or you use your thread, to hold it as a loose stitch, or you can do it as a permanent stitch. Then starting from the back panel this way, you just hold it from the back first. Please note, it's very important to hold the back, because if the back kind of shifts, your band will no longer be smooth. So you must make sure you hold the back panel first, just this way. Just tack it down that way. So after you must have held it, then you can now start locking from the beginning. So you start from here and start locking the band, right? So very close to the line where the band was jointed. Please don't sew on top of the band. So at the edge where the band ended, carefully position your needle. So stitch all through from here, stitch all through from here, stitch all through from here. Look at how I am stitching it. When you get to your belt loop, you open it up this way, open it up this way, and then once you go in a bit, you now brace your footer up, jump it, then go back again and continue from that some point you stopped. So this is how you end up locking your band, and it will give you a perfect finishing. So after this now, the next to do now is to lock the body of your trouser by applying your knee measurements, your lap, your ankle, and then you lock accordingly your laps as well. Then also make sure that you also iron out properly. So I hope you do enjoy this video. Please kindly give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are deriving knowledge from this, and also comment as well and tell me how impactful this video must have been to you. So lock it out. So since I've shown here, I will just jump it, to the other end, start from the other end and start stitching. Please guys, comment on my videos. I know you love what you're seeing. If you have watched this very moment, that means that you are learning a lot. So just comment so that YouTube will help me recommend the video to other viewers as well, so they will also learn with us on this beautiful channel. So carefully stitch all of this and make sure you are aligning everything to lap properly. Don't be in a haste to finish up, right? Don't be in a haste to finish up. So after this, the next to do now is to lock the lap, the knee, the ankle, and of course you fold your trouser length. So I'm done with the locking. Then cut off your threads, the ones under the loops. Cut them off. Please, when cutting them off, be careful so you don't cut your belt loop. So cut all the threads that lingered all along the belt loop sections. Cut everything off. Cut everything off. Cut it off this way. And then this is what you will have. So after this now, the next thing to do now is to, carefully mark zip cover. Mark your zip cover. That's the top here in the trouser. So usually I do it 1.2, 1.5. So I will do 1.5 here. So just drop chalks, drop chalks, drop chalks, drop chalks. Then this is where it ended. Then indicates. Make sure you drop a light chalk in order not to stain the fabric. After which you start from here and lock it. Start from here, arrange it properly. Make sure your hand must be stretched enough. So you do this in a very standard manner. So this is, and bear in mind that I unlock my zip, right? So approaching like 1.5 inch to that very point, I will lock back my zip. I will lock it back. I will lock back my zip, and I will control the underneath panels so they don't alter what I want to stitch. Then give it a perfect curve here. Give it a perfect curve, and that is how you achieve this. And that is how you achieve this. So look at the beauty of what we have shown so far. Look at the beauty of what we have shown so far. So I will just double thread there to make it lap or stronger. So now after which said the next to do now is to lock lap. The lap measurements, your knee and ankle are what you must use to lock the laps. So in locking a lap, make sure that the crouch positions are properly held, and then you apply your ankle, your knee, your lap, apply it for the other way around as well, and lock. Then make sure that here, you must pin here. You must pin here. Now this pinning will help you hold it firmly. These two practices must lap together, right? Then you start applying your knee, your ankle, and everything measurement. So let us do it here on the machine, on the table, on the machine table. Then my ankle I have is 14, 14, 14, that's 7 inches. Then my knee I have is a knee of 15 and a half, 15 and a half. That's 9.25, 9.25, my knee. Then my lap, I think, is 27 or 28, you know. So don't be confused on this panel. Make sure it's properly held. Then start from, you have to start from the sides this way and not from the center joining, the side here, right? So 27 is my lap. So you mark as well. So mark the same thing on the other side, and then you proceed to lock. So now we are locking the measurement. So I've marked my ankle. Please make sure that your own time, please draw your chalk, draw your chalk so that you'll be following the line, right? So because I have mastered my own, so I can actually lock it without marking chalk. So mark the chalk and draw it so that the line of the chalk you have drawn is what you must follow to sew it. So make sure you don't, try to do like me, because I've mastered how to connect the lines. It's a gradual process. You still master it. But for now, you drawing your chalk. Time will come when you can lock the trouser without much um, marking. So I will just, you know, join the dots of the chalks I have kept. So making sure that the crouch is also corresponding, right? Making sure that the crouch is also corresponding. The crouch is also corresponding. So make sure that you hold it firmly, and the hand must be stretched. So after this now, the next to do is to mark your um, do your hemming. Then before the hemming, please open press, and that's the end of the trouser. So this is how. Okay, let me lock here very well. This spot here, I will fold it this way. So I will just lock it from behind. I will lock it from behind, just like this. Just trim it a bit, trim it a bit. So I will lock it from behind, so it holds the crouch area properly, right? So I will just fold this way and lock from behind. There are many ways to lock this as well. Some persons, because of how they lock the trouser, they lock at the back center panel, right? But I just stitch it from here, you know. So I lock it from here, and that's all. So I will leave the excesses. Make sure that here is longer. It should be a bit longer. Some persons lock the body this way, but I just leave it here so that it doesn't alter or change anything on the body. So this is how I lock it. So I'll proceed with my hemming and then of course fold I open pressing. Thanks for watching guys. See you in my next video. Bye bye.